Is everybody? Hi, hi. How is everybody? Okay, let me go say I'm gonna go live on uh, Instagram. How is everybody? Okay, we're live on Instagram. Say hi, baby. Hi. Hi. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hi, Christy. Okay, let me say hi to everyone here. Lucy in the Sky, Evie, Shelling, AGL, Don Marie, Shar J, um, Leah, Elaine, Angel Star, Anne, Marie, Don Marie, Reg Peer, Cindy, Z, Kathleen, Gemini, Sarah, Christy, Carla Girl, Dodger Girl is on Twitch, Carmi, A Brown, Anne Multistan, Nosy Posey, Michelle, Bangduna, Chrissy, Amy, Anne Shoulder, Mama Ja, Carmi, Six Tribe 13, Six Tribes 13, Taryn, Taryn, Jessica, Hitomi, Halina, Sylvia, Tom, Gemini, Curie, Lady Sofita. Hi. Robin. Hi everybody. How is everyone doing? Win win. Nikon Lady Arlene MLB. Hi. How do I start? I want to first apologize for last Monday. I was actually very distracted. Natty's she's on X. I was very distracted last Monday. You know how sometimes like anxiety settles. So uh, I sort of started feeling it over the weekend, and I think the peak was Saturday, Sunday of last week, and I thought by Monday I'll be good because it usually takes me like several days to sort of get my brain out of it. And but by the time I went live, I thought like by the afternoon I'll be all good and stuff. But I guess it was still there because I realized that I wasn't fully present on that live. So I apologize. I should have just not done it because it was just like I was all over the place. I was really finding it hard to concentrate. And then, yeah, so it took me like one more day to actually fully get out of it. So sorry for last Monday. I guess next time I just won't do it if I feel like it's too much for me, at least mentally and emotionally. But yeah, like it just happens I'm sure that that happens to everyone every now and then again as well. But I'm over it now. So okay, all right. How are you guys? How's your? I'm sure that uh, I couldn't tell what turned out was from the clips. So happy that Army showed out. Yeah. Okay, so there's stuff that I was fine. Okay, thank you. I was just like so distracted. Usually I'm able to read like go through some comments and still be able to concentrate on what I was doing. But I realized that I was just like getting pulled up from different directions, and that's usually what happens when it settles in me. But okay, but I kind of know how to handle it after years of having to deal with it. It's just that sometimes it really you can't rush it. You just need to work through it, and then after several days, you're fine again. So um, yeah, just I guess I just need to manage it better. I think one thing that I haven't been doing in the last 2 years was regular workout. I used to be able to walk a lot. I actually bought like a walking pad, which I had to set aside because my when my mom moved in, she took in the bigger bedroom, and so I have the smaller bedroom. That's why I'm in a corner. So I really didn't know how to set it up, and so I was able to, like, last weekend I realized I really need to, like, find a way on how to work out despite the busy schedule. So I bought a foldable walking pad, and also like a stationary walker, not walker, staircase, something like that. It's a small one, so that I can fold even when I'm here in this room. It will fit. So I'll start doing that because it really helps. Like for those with anxiety, I guess even doctors would, or psychologists and psychiatrists would actually tell you that, like, exercise really helps. When you get your blood pumping, it does pump something in your brain, so that it's almost involuntary that you'll feel better. So um, yeah, okay. So I'm happy to see everybody. He was great, right? He threw a strike. He threw a strike. I was telling my friend that the ball speed is 234, which is not true, of course. I think the fastest is like 125, and that's like the best of them. So I said no, it was 250. But he was great. It was a strike. It was right in the middle. So I mean, we've seen a lot of ceremonial throw, and those are just like disaster. Thank you, Jennifer. So, okay. I'm thank you, Michelle. I am feeling better now, way better, which I am glad because of the chaos last night to me, I guess, or this morning. So I was like, oh, great, I'm in a better headspace. Otherwise, I'd be irritated or whatever. Sugar walking through the airport like he's setting a speed walking competition. Will they be going back to LA? If I remember correctly, what they mentioned in their live stream, if you would remember the last time they had the live stream, they mentioned that they were going to go on a world tour, like a traveling music camp. So, and then they said like they're going to be staying in LA for 2 months. That's what I remember from their live stream. So I guess it's right around 2 months since they moved here. So they may go back and forth. So what I'm thinking is that, like, so maybe they'll go back and forth still. That's one option. Or the other is that maybe they just have something to do and they're still gonna go back to LA. We don't know. But as far as I remember, in their last live stream, they said that they're gonna do a travel music camp or something. So let's see what they're gonna be doing next. It's just exciting. I mean, it's exciting to see. I definitely don't even want to guess what it is that they're doing. I just want them to surprise us. I definitely don't want anything to come out unless it's coming from them. So yeah, let's just see what they're gonna be doing. Sugar gave his guitar to his manager so he could sped out of there. That's Sugar for you. Okay, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do news and updates, Min HEEJIN, BTS brand, or Jimin? Fire Butterfly, she's on Twitch. Hello, HHK, and me too. I'm so mad at those girls following them with their cameras. They have no shame. This is what I was saying. Like, the minute they step on South Korea, they get tracked. And they're moving around LA and nobody sees where they are. So I'm hoping for an OT7 live as well. Yes. Jimin, please. You want to do Jimin first? Get it off. uh, get it over with as soon as possible. Wow, Jimin. Okay, let's do Jimin. Okay, so let's do Jimin first so that we can get it done and over with as soon as possible. So we can just all agree, first and foremost. This is the next slide is the most important thing of all, and that is that we trust only Jimin. Okay, so unless it's coming from Jimin or his company in behalf of Jimin, then we should just chill. We should just chill. Second is that Jimin is 30, so by their, yeah, he's approaching 30 very very soon. So it's whatever he does in his personal life is his personal life. That's none of our business. So the only thing that we should be concerned about is whether or not his privacy is being violated. But it's also not in our place to dictate what he will do or what he will tell us. Right? We can only do our part. Okay. So that's it for sure. So let's talk about Jimin. I've always said this, that we should always go back to the core of everything. And the core of everything is that we're supporting every BTS member in their music. Okay. So, and then if they do other side projects that we like, then we can also support them if we don't want, not support them if we don't, if sorry, support them if we want, or not support them if we don't want. But when it comes to their music, their career in music, in entertainment, that is our primary concern, and everything should always go back to that. Always remember that, and that they are human beings. They are not puppets. They're not dolls. They're not objects of whatever, of someone's fantasy. They are artists, and we should honor that. And as fans, we should be the ones that are leading the charge in directing everybody back to where it should always be, and that is again on their music. And so I just want to remind everybody just how impressive Jimin has been in his journey, in his solo career. Number one, so this he is still on daily top songs in US charts. So that's who has been on for like, when was it released? It's been on for a year, and he is number 49 in daily top songs US, and he is back in 500,000 streams daily. Okay, so uh, if that does not impress you, I don't know what will. He's not promoting. BTS is not promoting the song. Big Hit is not promoting the song, but he's still there. He went up. So this is daily top songs in the US alone. So he went up 8 spots in the daily chart of Spotify, and back to 500,000 streams daily. So that is the one thing that we should be celebrating. Okay, so someone said my volume is low on Twitch. Okay, so that is one thing that we should celebrate, because he's actually been on the chart 390 days in US chart. No major label support. On weekly top songs chart, he went up 33 spots. 30, 33 spots, and that's the last week that they tracked, August 21. And he is back in the 3 million mark on his weekly streams. So if we can keep the 500 million, sorry, 500,000 streams daily, then he will go back to 3.5 million a week. So he is currently at number 52, up 33 spots. He peaked at number 2, and if you would look at the peak, the previous week, it was 85. So he has been inside the weekly top songs, top 200, 100 for 9 consecutive weeks. But in total, because he's been out before. My volume echoes. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Is my volume better? Okay. Is my volume better for everybody? Okay. Before we all knew so let's concentrate first on Jimin's achievement. Let's concentrate on this first, so that because these are the things that matter. Everything, the things that you're talking about are not. These are the things that matter. His achievements are what matters the most, because that's what we're here for. It's his music and his career, so let's celebrate that. Okay, so going back, weekly top songs USA. He is number 52. He's up 33 spots. And previously he was at 85. He's now at number 52, and he's back to a 3.1 million weekly streams. But daily, he's back to 500 million streams in the US alone. Okay, in the US alone. So if we can actually keep the 500, half a million streams daily, then he can go back to 3.5 per week. And if we can up it up a little bit, then he will go back to 7 million weekly streams, which is what we should be aiming for. Okay. And then, so that is that is US. If we go to global, he's still there. So for weekly top songs, he is back at 23, up 3 spots. And the total streams weekly is 17,830,000. Okay. So he peaked at number one. Previously, he was number 26. He's now at number 23. So he is now on a 57 week streak for global songs. So let's just keep that up. Let's keep on adding and playing Who for Jimin so that we can push Who to 2 billion. Okay, so that's for weekly global. If we go daily top songs global, he is at number 23. He went down 1 spot, but that's fine. We can recover. So he is at 2.5 million streams daily global. We can push it to 3 million again daily. Okay, so again, this song is not being promoted, and this was released a year ago, and it's still on the chart. Global Spotify, which is the biggest streaming platform. And let's also not forget this amazing, amazing achievement of Jimin. I don't know if people actually realize that there are very, very few artists in the world that can set a global record without qualifiers. You know, the first Asian female artist or some first Asian male artist or something like that. There are very few artists in the world who can set a record that will never be erased with no qualifiers. And that he did that. He became the first solo act to debut a non-English song in Billboard Hot 100. The other act that did it first in general is BTS, which is his own group. Okay, so that's two achievements for him. He's part of the group that became the very first act to debut a non-English song on the top of Billboard Hot 100, and then he became the first solo act. And there will be someone else next time. Down the road, someone is going to release a song that will also debut at number one, but they will never, ever, ever be first. So let's appreciate just how difficult that record was to set, and he did it. And he did it with a song that he wrote based on his own experience, wrote and co-produced, and that's based all on his experience. He wrote it. We should appreciate uh, just how amazing that is. Okay. So Carla's comment is that everything that you're saying is true, and the main thing that the media will not talk about, especially K media. I feel armies need to do what we did for Suga and not engage with. Exactly. That's why I'm highlighting all of this so that we can concentrate on this. So I will explain. Just let me finish so that I can go through everything and everything is going to make sense. But first, let's try to bring your brain back into Jimin and not all the issues surrounding him. So this is one exercise that you can do. The mere fact that I am trying to highlight all these great things that Jimin has achieved and is still achieving, and people are still getting distracted with all of the controversies. It's actually a testament and sort of a practice on how you can shut down all the noise and just concentrate on what you should be talking about. Because if you continue to talk about this issue that's going on right now, then that is what is going to get amplified, right? So let's all try to just concentrate on this, just not think about anything else but the achievements of Jimin. Okay, let's continue. All right. So let's try to appreciate just how great his that achievement is, because someone's going to be second, maybe another act is going to do two songs, two debut two songs that are non-English in on top of Billboard Hot 100, but they will never be first. That record will always belong to BTS and to Jimin. Okay, so Billboard Hot 100 number one, he did it all on his own with very limited US promotions. And the two songs that he has on Spotify with 1 billion streams, that's both solo songs. So unaccompanied. Again, think about that. Just how, and he did not promote well in the US. He didn't a lot. Then he didn't have a lot of promotion, especially for who? It was one pre-recorded performance for Jimmy Fallon. Okay, so again, just try to think about just how great that achievement is. Okay, next. Right now, his total streams is 1.9 billion. So we have about 63 million to go for him to get to 1 billion to 2 billion. So if we just keep on streaming, then we can push him closer to 2 billion sooner than later. Okay, so let's try to stream it more so that we can push it sooner rather than later to 2 billion streams. Outside of that, as I've mentioned, Who, the song, has been in Spotify US for 390 days in total. So that would be, the song is about a year old, a little over a year old. And he practically has been on the chart, in the US chart, for a little over more than three-fourths of the entire year. He has been consistently inside the chart. Usually he would drop only when there's like a new release or something. So, and then as I've said, Who is now officially the most streamed 2024 release by an Asian native. So the lead between him and number two, Apathy, is not a lot. So we need to keep on pushing it so that we can increase the lead. So remember, he's not getting any kind of playlisting. All of his playlisting is coming from the fans. So let's try to help the song a little bit more. Okay, so he also is the most streamed solo. He has the most streamed solo songs by an Asian native. That's 5.9 billion streams from his solo work. So unaccompanied is what I mean when it is solo. In total, as of August 26th, he has 7.2 billion streams. Okay, so we're doing well. Let's just keep on supporting it. Let's push it a little bit more. Okay. Next. These are all in K-word. If you actually want to look at where he is charting, you can actually look at the countries. So for Muse and for Who, those two albums the US is always his top. So his top two countries would always include US and South Korea. And then the third one would sometimes be UK or sometimes Japan. But that gives you an idea on how much his power actually is as an artist. Because despite having no promotion, he's consistently topping. His US is consistently one of his top countries. Okay. When it comes to Spotify streams. All right. Now I showed this a little bit to you guys, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. The engagement rate that he has on Instagram is 13.8, and for someone with 55 million subscribers, this is hella high. It usually doesn't happen. When you go down, when you go up to about 50, actually when you go up to about 20 million, usually brand managers or marketing experts would usually expect about 2 to 3% engagement rate. So for him to have 13.8 is nothing short of miraculous. So that means, so I generated his brand engagement from different marketing social media platforms, and one of that would be hype auditor, because this is the one that's most popular. So one is 13.8, and the other is 13.53. So right now it's right around the same. And for every post, so you can actually measure the value of his post. And for him, whenever he makes one post, the value of that is 9.5 million. That's his brand power. Every post, if you value that, whenever he makes a post, it is 9.5 million. So this thing is actually going to guide brand managers and marketing managers whenever they want to, for example, commission Jimin for a partnership, for a brand partnership, for just a one-time thing. Usually when you're this big, it doesn't happen this way, but just to give you an idea, if somebody wants to do a brand partnership with him, let's say for example, okay, Jimin, do 5 posts for us, and that's the end of the partnership. This is the value that they're gonna get: 9.5 million if he posts a brand. Now, sometimes when they do posts, they still show some of the brands, and primarily because they're wearing them, right? It's not really because they have a brand deal with them. So that means for that brand, that is the marketing value of what they got, simply because their brand was visible on Jimin when he did a post. So that's one way of measuring it. Every BTS member you can actually measure, but we're talking about BTS. And I did this actually for the paid members. So for my YouTube paid members and paid members on Patreon, I actually did a more comprehensive like assessment of their brand. Okay, so but just to give you how an idea on how powerful he is. Now, when all of these things started, one of the first posts that I saw, and this was like 8 hours ago, generated 16 million impressions. So that post about this entire controversy generated 16 million. So because I'm a marketer, my first question was, okay, but what is the value of this engagement, right? What is the value of this engagement? The value is about 200,000. So if a brand posted something or partnered with a celebrity, and then the celebrity tweeted about it and generated 16 million impressions. We're not even talking about the likes and the shares, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. But that is an impression of that. The value of this post is 200,000. For me to be able to generate that, it's 200,000. Now, if I am a creator and I got this much engagement, my payout would most likely be between 500 to 1,000 in X, if it's X. Okay, so right now, this specific post related to this entire controversy, it's about 22 million already. Okay, so I when I saw this, when I was computing it last night, my first thought is that Jimin has everybody on a chokehold. Drop his name and people are interested. And I am saying that this is all about him because, okay, and I am sure of this, that this is all about him and nothing about anything else. Because the ratio, and this is going to teach you on how to be a bit more critical and analytical when you're looking at the statistics of a post in any kind of social media platform. Because if you do an assessment, usually the for you to determine how valuable the interaction is, you look at the ratio between impressions and likes. Okay, and a healthy likes to impression ratio would be anywhere between 3 to 5%. So if 16 million, let's just say for easy math, if it is 16 million, 10% is 1.6 million, and then your if it is 1 million, and then your 1% is about 100,000, and this is only 53,000 likes. Meaning, so what does it mean? Meaning people are actually seeing it because the algorithm knows that these people are interested in Jimin. So they're pushing that. Impression is when you see it. Okay. So if I don't like, I don't share, I don't comment, it means that I just saw it. I didn't really do anything about it. And given the very low likes to impression, it only means that they saw the post only because they're interested in Jimin, but they're not interested in the post. Because if they were interested in the post, they would interact, which is not happening. Okay, and that's a major insight in this entire issue. People are not interested in this specific thing. They're just interested in Jimin. And so all of this controversy for them, it does not mean a thing. They are not interested. We saw the post because Jimin was mentioned, but we're not interested because this is not what we want out of Jimin. Do you get what I'm saying? It's very important. It's very important for you to realize just how irrelevant this specific issue is for the greater majority of his fans. Okay. So in other words, we're making this is much ado about nothing. Jimin's fans want his they want his music, they want his own post, they want his brand deals, this uh, this they want his art, his performances, but not anything like this. Okay, so the question is what determines interest? Interaction is what determines interest. So usually you measure impression. Impression is eyeballs, like how many people saw it. So in here, it means that 16 million, and this was 8 hours ago. So this specific post, it was seen by 16 million people. But interest is your interaction. So when you like, when you comment, when you replay the video, if it is, for example, on YouTube, when you replay the video or pause or do certain things, any kind of interaction, that is interest. And the healthy, normal, okay, normal type of interest would be your like to impression ratio. It has to be about 3 to 5%. If you go 10%, that is amazing. That's like beyond, that's our dream as a marketer. But if you go down, and this is not even 1%, the interest, which is the like, 53,000, that's not even 1%. So that's how uninterested people are in this specific issue. Okay? So I hope that you're realizing what I'm trying to say. This specific issue does not interest fans of Jimin or people that are interested in Jimin. This is not what they want. So let's move on from there, because people are not, they're not making a big deal out of this. We shouldn't either. Okay, I know about the privacy thing and we'll get there. So this is a low like to impression ratio. This means that people are seeing this because they are interested in Jimin but aren't really interacting because this is not what specifically they are interested in. So the post itself does not interest people. That's what it says. Um, so Sandrin, many army are Jimin haters, but they see his post but do not interact, but still count for algorithm. Correct. But you can direct the algorithm, and this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, the reason in the beginning of this discussion about Jimin, I'm trying to focus people's brain just on achievements because that's actually what's the most difficult thing to do. People are mostly distracted. But if you just focus, then all of these things will not interest you. And we will get to how you can actually avoid all of these things. Okay, next. Yes, we'll get to the privacy part of it. Okay, let's do next. So if you are a small creator, for example, if I'm a small creator, which I am, then that's a lot of money. That specific post is going to earn me 1,000, and that's one post. That's a lot of money. And so people that know they will get interaction through that impression, even if it is not actual, uh, even if people don't actually interact with it, the impression itself is going to bring a lot of money to them. So that's one motivation for them to do it. It's because they know they'll make money. Okay, and who's going giving them money? It's you, because you are becoming a part of that algorithm, and there is a way for you to not even be a part of it. Okay, so we'll get there. Um, so now the goal of one of the things that happen. Okay, I think that's just a safer way of putting it. One of the things as a result of this entire thing, in a matter of 8 hours, the person actually gained 100% followers. So her followers actually doubled from 5,000 to about 10,000. So let's just put her gains at 5,000 followers. And the followers are engaged. So meaning they're actually commenting. These are people that are active on social media. And these are valuable followers because they're active, they're real people. Okay, so um, if you, for example, you go on your Instagram daily, you just, or Twitter, or whatever social media you're using, even if you're just reading, for as long as you're actually doing something on the site and not just scrolling, not just non-scrolling, you're a high value follower. So the 5,000 that she got are all high value followers because the reason they got to her, they the reason they followed her or subscribed to her was because of the thing that she was doing. So they are active, engaged, and also they have reasonable amount of followers as well. So those are high value followers. For anyone, okay, for anyone to get 5,000 high value subscribers, you need to spend some money if you're an ordinary brand. Okay, I'm doing this because I want you all to realize how valuable you are as a subscriber. So PR packages for you to get to that. For if, for example, I'm a brand, I talk to a marketing agency and I tell them, okay, get me 5,000 high value followers. This is how much I'm going to be spending. I need about 600 per package. So I need to gift people on Instagram or whatever social media. And per gift, it could be anywhere between $50 to $600. And then I need to work with paid collaborators, and that would be 500 to 6,000. So meaning I'm going to ask other influencers to post about my account and ask their subscribers to follow me. So that's one guaranteed way or one good way of gaining high value followers. Next, paid collaborators with macro influencers, and that's going to cost me about five anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 per campaign. All in all, for me to be able to get 5,000 high value followers, which is what she got, I'm gonna have to spend anywhere between 15,000 to 240,000 or even more. Meaning, what she pulled in 8 hours was, if you put a value on it, that's worth $240,000. Okay, and she got it for free. So everybody who subscribed to her, everybody who interacted with any post related to this matter, everybody contributed to this 240,000. Okay, so I hope that with what I'm saying, you're actually realizing just how um, valuable you are as a social media user. Okay, all right. Next, if you are active or engaged, if in general, I will have to spend upwards of $50 to get you to subscribe to somebody. That's the value that I need. That's your value as a follower to get you subscribed. Okay. So um, now my the thing that we all need to make sure is that this is Jimin's brand that is being used, and nobody should benefit from Jimin's brand but Jimin. And because we are the followers, we're the end users, we can do something about it to make sure that only he benefits from his own brand. Okay? Remember just how difficult it is to get a follower like you. All right? So that's your value. Always think about that, that you're not just one user, you're a valuable user, because you interact, you comment, you're a valuable user. So for Jimin, no matter the controversy, we can always spin it so that only he could benefit from it. We can always take control over the narrative. We can only if we will follow certain practices that I've already discussed, but I will be repeating it just for Jimin. So that we can focus again. Remember the 1 to 3 rule. Whenever you see a negative post or a post that you don't like, post or support posts 3 positive ones. One negative post or support 3 positive ones. And even if you post just, oh, Jimin is great or something like that, that still is, you want to go down, baby? Okay. Say bye. Bye, everybody. Okay. Okay. So support the um support the 1:3 rule. Okay. So you can either hype someone else's support or someone else's post, or you can create your own. Okay. Next, you can also, but the more important thing is that you block anyone feeding anything negative. Okay, remember that you don't have to respond to them. You do not need to interact with them for that to count as an engagement. If you stop and if it's a video you watch, you didn't do anything, that's still an engagement. Even if you leave negative comments, that's still an engagement. So as long as it gets to your feed, that is engagement. So the only way for you to not be a part of that is to actually block them so that they don't get to you. So remember the ratio. Remember what I showed you earlier. This specific post, the one who posted first, this is 16 million impressions, 53,000 likes. Meaning of the 16 million, 53,000, only 53,000 bothered to actively interact with it. So if that's 15 million bothered to block this account, then the next time that account posts, he will have a limited audience. So then the algorithm will not push this account because it's not reaching more people. Does that make sense? So it is not enough for you to ignore a post. It is more important for you to block. Okay? So block. Just whenever you see somebody posting about that, block. Whenever you see someone saying something negative, block. It is not enough that you ignore. You have to block. Okay? Next, keep it about his music. He's an adult. He's rich, he's smart, he's kind, he's handsome. Do you think he spends his free time mastering the Rubik's Cube? I mean, come on. He is more than, he has the right to live his life. He can, no, don't even say not interested. Just don't interact, just block. Any kind of interaction, remember, any kind of interaction, negative or positive, is an engagement. And the algorithm is going to record that as an engagement. Remember that the goal of the social media platform is to keep you in their platform. That's the only goal that they have. They don't care about anything else. And so if it enrages you, if you try to correct that, whatever it is, that's still engagement. Okay. So remember, he's an adult. He has the right to do whatever it is that he wants to do. For as long as the other person is consenting, I do not see any problem with it. Now, if you don't like the person that he is with, that is your problem, not his. Again, for as long as it is, the person is consenting, as long as he's not hurting anybody, violating anybody's right, he can do whatever he wants. Okay? So block people. and do not get into his personal life. If you think, however, their privacy is being violated, which is the the issue right now for a lot of people, they think his privacy is being violated, then report. Go to protect period hidecourt.com and report. Don't even think that Jimin or Big Hit for that matter has any obligation to report back to us what it is that they are going to do, what action it is that they're going to take. As I've said, that's his personal life. So if we as fans want to protect him and support him, we can report. And then you leave it to their very, very expensive lawyers. More importantly, you leave the decision to Jimin because he's smart, he's an adult, he would know what to do. Okay, I hope I'm making myself clear. Next, your attention is your currency. Give it in any way, shape, or form, they win automatically. That's it. If you let it in your feed, if you let it in your vicinity, they win automatically. Whether you make, even if it is to make an any kind of effort to explain the reality or correct whatever, that is still interaction because that is what they want. That is the only thing they want, your attention. You give it to them, they will keep on doing what they are doing. Okay. So nothing will stop her, nothing will stop them, the haters, the shippers, because you are showing interest. The only way they're going to stop is if they realize they are not getting the engagement, they are not getting the interaction, and they are not getting the impressions. Okay, clear? Is that clear to everybody? Now, um, the other important thing, because I see a lot of people making this mistake, AI is not always intelligent, and so they're gonna pick things that are connected. That I've discussed this in the previous, I think, two live streams ago. So they would always pick up on things that are connected to the main search. So, um, for example, Jimin is my search. Anybody or anything that is being searched connected to him is going to hype up, is going to be hyped up. So the minute that you put her name connected to Jimin's name, then she gets hyped up. So don't even mention her name. Don't even mention anybody's name. Anybody you do not want connected to him, don't mention it because AI is going to think, okay, if this person is mentioned, it's connected to Jimin. Artificial intelligence is not very intelligent for the most part. they're they're kind of stupid most of the time. So don't even mention their name. So anybody, if I see any kind of post on YouTube, on TikTok, any kind of post that has her name, I block because either that person is purposely doing it for engagement or not very nice word but not so smart. So you mentioned that person's name in relation to Jimin, I block you. Even if you say, well, I'm trying to correct the mistake. No, you're not correcting anything. You associate that name to Jimin, you're just making it worse. Automatic. So they mention her name, block. Okay. Yes, no engagement is the best source of action. Now, to be clear, as I've said, mentioning her name, even if it is to clarify things, still associate her name with Jimin. So do not mention. uh, Sorry, that's a typo. Do not mention any name who you think shouldn't be associated with Jimin. All right. Okay, and then block anybody who's doing the same thing. Again, even if they say, "Oh, it's just to correct it," you're not correcting anything. You're not correcting anything. You mention her name, it's going to get associated to Jimin. Next is that social media trends don't represent the majority. As I've mentioned, nobody cares about this in the US. If you go to Google Trends, I don't know if you actually use that app, but it's free for everybody. If you go to Google Trends, you go and search what's happening in the last 24 hours, her name does not come up at all. So in the US, which is his biggest market, it does not matter. You know where it's trending? South Korea. So those people there should stop. Okay. But in the US, nobody cares. All right. So what you see, a lot of people are in this echo chamber. So if you're getting affected in by this entire issue, that means that you're a part of that echo chamber. Get out of it. And the way you can get out of it is by blocking them. Okay? So again, if you're getting a lot of feeds about this issue, if you're getting a lot of feeds, you're getting affected emotionally, you're getting irritated, it means that you are in their echo chamber. Get out of it and go in your own. Create your own echo chamber. Okay. Social media trends don't represent the majority. If that's the reason I showed you Spotify, his Spotify chart for today and for this week, we are not affected. We do not care. Okay, this is the goal. Be the undisputed champion of the I don't give a fudge war. Okay, that's your goal. You should be unbothered by all of this. You should just do not give a single rat's ass. Okay, okay, that's the goal. Whenever anything comes up about Jimin or anybody else, just don't. Vote for him in VMAs. That's the thing that you should be doing. Go to VMAs and vote for him. Make sure that you do it on all of your accounts daily. That is the concentration. The other thing that we should all do is buy Muse vinyl. Look at that. It's so pretty. I actually might buy it. So I don't usually buy their vinyl because I don't have a player. But my daughter, my niece, actually told me that she's gonna send me like a player just so I can start playing. So I might do that. But it's so pretty. So if you are in the US, you can just go to the Geffen store and so that it counts towards the chart. Just buy it from the Geffen store. I think it's about, I don't remember the price. I bought two, as you know, I always do two. So okay. Your virgin ears. Okay. Okay. So just don't give a rat's ass about all of those things. It does not matter. Okay, so vote in VMAs. I just voted for one of my accounts. I made the mistake of not voting during the times to the hour. So these are some of his achievements. Please, just if you really are very concerned about Jimin, the best thing that you can do is to not pay any attention to it. Don't even respond. Control the narrative. Remember, and you have the power to do it. Control the narrative. Make it about Jimin. Don't mention her name. Anybody mentioning her name, block them. Even if you know, oh, they're just trying to correct the miss. They're not correcting anything. They are not correcting anything. If you want to protect Jimin, report and then trust Jimin first and foremost, secondary his company to do what is right for Jimin. It's going to be his decision. Okay, that's his personal life. I I'm sure there. I'm sure he's 30. He's rich, good looking. He's not spending his time trying to bake a cake. I can guarantee you that. He's not trying to be a chef. He's very bad at cooking. I'm sure he's doing something else. Okay, so if this is going to phase you, that kind of a video is going to distract you and disturb you, boy, you have more things coming. So the only way they're going to stop is if you actually don't give them the engagement that they are seeking. So do you have questions? It is very pretty. Yeah, it is very pretty. Yes, let's do it right now. Block everybody. Keep on blocking. Remember, that is your first sign. Anybody, anytime that you see this information on your feed, it means that you are in their echo chamber. So I always say, just even if it's not for your favorite artist, even if it's just for yourself, do you like being controlled? I'm sure you don't, right? I'm sure you don't like being controlled. I don't like being controlled by other people. I make the decisions for myself. And so if they are giving you information that you don't want, they are controlling you. Okay. Okay, so before I go to before I ask, this is actually a part of the news, and the news updates. This, do you have questions about anything that you want to address or talk about, or about this thing? Code writing isn't new. It is not new. Yes. 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 Please. So please, I'll remember that. Thank you for explaining. Yes. Please, please always remember that. Block is the only way. Disliking, correcting their story is not going to work. It's just engagement. You're giving them money. Remember that you're valuable. You're valuable. As a creator, I work my butt off to keep you, right? I work my butt off to give you content that is valuable so that I can keep you. And these people are just using his name just so they can get engagement. Don't allow them to do it. Don't let them control you. You're worth more than that. Always take pride in that. Always take pride. So be critical when you're consuming something. Be critical. What is this? What is this for? Who's feeding this information? Um, ask the group. Jimin is so silent. Please engage and earn for yourself. Correct. Why don't you just create your own content, right? I like the video. Yes. So where did I put that? Yes. Please like the video. There you go. Okay, before we move on to the news and updates, is there any question? It's so annoying that this happened right the day he returned to SK. And we again, and that is, I am Claudia. Yes, but then we can control the narrative. As I've said, we can always control the narrative. He's back. Let's hype his projects. Let's stream his song. Let's mention him in a positive way. If there's anybody, there's a lot of content, small creators on on X, on Facebook. Sometimes they're actually the ones that are giving more valuable suggestions. If they're suggesting something that is good, like help me trend it, like sometimes I would get a lot of DMs giving me phrases to trend, right? And if I know that these phrases are good to trend, then I help. I just post, even if the post is just about that, just that the words that the keywords that they want to trend. So be very, very selective and think highly of yourself. Value yourself. Always remember that. Value yourself. You're not a part of the statistic. Don't allow yourself to be in their space. Put them in your space. You're important. Your engagement is important. Your attention is important. Yes, they're all in South Korea now. They are all in South Korea. JK has solo in December. When will our Mochi engage so we can make him rich? We can make him rich now. Who told you we can't make him rich now? I just showed you the stat. He's not doing anything, and he's already still in the top 100 of Spotify US. This is where the money is in the US. Um, so we don't know, and also we don't know. Again, those belief about this entire tour happening for JK. That was started by solos, right? And it spread so much he might, I mean, for me, he might have a solo. Who knows? And that's good if he does. I will support him. You know that. But imagine the kind of power that this fandom gave the solos. They started something with no basis, absolutely no basis. They just said it, and people started believing it. Imagine that kind of manipulation. Where did you say we can order his vinyl in California? Go to Geffen BTS US store. BTS US store. So I'll show you 1 second. Give me 1 second. I will share the screen as to where you can buy or I will just paste. You want me to paste it here? I'll paste it in the chat so that it's easier for everybody to access. Give me 1 second. There. So click that, and you'll be led to the page where you can buy the vinyl. Okay, yes, they are back in South Korea. All right, you want to do you want to do news and updates. So look at that, Unbothered Kings. This is for yet to come, their performance. And the special guest for this performance is Anderson Paak. All right. Yes, we have only discussed Jimin so far. All right, let's do news and updates. So BTS Movie Week. This is it. Wait, let me make sure that you can actually see it. All right. So if you go to this link, you will be able to buy. Oh, this is for the US, I think. So you will be able to buy the tickets. There are four movies that you can buy tickets from. So it's not all shows in one movie. You're gonna have to go through. You're gonna have to buy a ticket for each of the performances. So there, um, go there. I pasted the link in the chat back box, so please go. I hope to see you guys there. I definitely am going. Okay. Um, yes, they all look good. Okay, next. So you had to replace your hot water heater. Okay. And then I forgot to show you this, but this is now our Billions Club. So we have two from Jimin, and then one, two, three, four, five. Five from BTS, and then four for JK, and one from V. That's our billion club. And then we can add one. Well, yeah, we can add one more. Actually, we can add one more very soon. So let's keep on pushing for our 1 billion playlist. Okay. Other news for Korean sales, BTS Proof for the week of August 30th is still one of the best selling album in South Korea, even though it has been released for 2 years now. Isn't that amazing? I don't know if there's anybody who can actually really match the kind of power that they have in terms of sales. So TXT is actually number one, and Hype, and this is for August, week of August 30th. So TXT and Hypen, and then BTS is the third, and then we have ATEEZ, BTS again, Permission to Dance on Stage Live, ILLIT. Would you believe that? He's their number six. Stray Kids, G Dragon, Stray Kids again with eight, and Hypen again with Romance Untold. Jimin's Muse is number 15. Okay, and then New Jeans Get Up, 17 Happy Birthday, Blackpink, the album, Stray Kids Rockstar, Stray Kids 5 star, and then Jin's Echo. Okay, no, this is just, yes, Billboard World Albums for August 30th. It is, yeah, Billboard. Did I say Korea? Sorry. So this is for Billboard World Albums. Yes. Okay. 5 of top 10 is Hype. Correct. Yeah. So I'm also very impressed with ILLIT. Imagine that. World albums. Wow. Okay. And then for McDonald's, for the first drop is September 3. Someone was actually asking earlier. The first drop is September 3. And then the encore is September 23. So there are two drops, September 3 and September 23. Since my goal is to get all seven, I will have to buy at least 14 times from McDonald's. Okay, so yes, September 3 and September 23. All right, someone was asking. I hope that you are still there and you got this real clear for you. Movie weeks, the timing doesn't work for me, keeping my calendar free to help a sister having surgery. Of course, that's more important. That's more important. Okay. As I'm also a glit, so I'm very, very happy for them. And this is my favorite picture. I'm sorry. These are two of my favorites in one picture. So Shohei Otani is the star of LA Dodgers. For I don't know how many of you are actually baseball fans or at least know about baseball, but he is in his name. Shohei's name is definitely in the conversation of being one of the greatest of all time when it comes to baseball. Of course, Babe Ruth is still, as of now, the best of all time. And if Shohei ever wants to, if yeah, if he ever wants to overtake Babe Ruth, there's a lot of work that he needs to do because by God, it's Babe Ruth. But at least it's in the conversation, so that makes me very happy. And they had a picture together. They actually had a pretty long conversation, long enough, and it was actually Te who started speaking in Japanese. I heard so. Uh, my favorite picture. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, this made my week." So very happy about seeing this picture. It's definitely one of the pictures that managed to get me out of my slump. So very happy for that. And as I've said, he threw a strike. Everyone was so impressed. And the other thing was that it was so funny because after V's pitch, they actually posted about him like eight or nine times. Like MLB and the Dodgers actually posted like eight or nine. The Dodgers, I think. They posted like eight or nine times. And I'm like, are you trying to sign V? He's still a member of BTS. But that's what it felt like. And then they only posted once for their win for that night. So, like, I think they're setting aside everybody else and just concentrating on V. But that is V's power. So um, you have actually started being interested in baseball. It's a great sport. This baseball was the sport of my parents. Sorry, my mother's side. So I know quite a bit about it. Um, okay, so next, let's do next. So my algorithm is filled with baseball videos. That is good. Okay, so and then as I pasted this on Patreon, but Jin is in July's box score. So he or June, sorry, yeah, June. So he has for 12 shows, he grossed 32.5 million and sold 217,000 tickets for 12 shows. So he is in the top 10, which is nothing short of impressive considering he's a solo act. So he's the highest charting solo act for June. Okay. I was so glad V chose number seven. Yeah, because I don't know if it is true, but they said that there were about 35 custom made shirt on the day itself alone. And they all ordered, sorry, not the day itself alone, but the day before. And they all ordered 95. And then he showed up with number seven. So, okay. And then, so for Japan, though, for Jen, he grossed 9.6 million. Okay, and then he sold 82.5 thousand tickets. Now, someone is saying like, isn't it supposed to be 110? Uh, this is what box score actually got. So I, of course, I can't alter their statistics. So according to Billboard, this is what they got. So it may be the other venue, but let's see. Let's wait when the other venue is going to be released. So far, they got Kyocera only. Okay. You have questions? All right. And then, according to Forbes Korea, Jin is the most influential brand ambassador. So he's the first most influential brand ambassador, and this is according to Forbes Korea. Someone asked me, how do they actually measure that? This is very, very complicated because it's kind of like measuring the brand value, or even just like for Google, what are the parameters that they use in order to know which response is the most appropriate for a certain query. Something like that. There's a lot of things that they take into consideration: mentions, traffic, sales of the brand, if they can get the report. So there's a lot. It's not like a one time thing. So yeah, okay. So who are the rest? I know this is Felix, just because I can. Number four is Felix, just so I can, because I can identify. Isn't that Chow Nuo? Okay. But number 4 is Felix. Number 7, I don't know, Ichunyo. Ichuno. Juno. Juno of 2 p.m. I think. Okay. So, all right. Juno. Okay, yeah. So number 2 is Chaunwo, and then number 3 is Juno. Felix. This is Felix, and then Shiny Temi is number 5. I'm trying to read the Hangul. So number 5 is Shiny Temin. Okay. Next, who is now the most streamed? I mentioned this before. Who is now the most streamed 2024 K-pop solo song overall in Spotify. So we're very very close to 2 billion. So on, um, if we can just keep on streaming that, then we'll have another song in the 2 billion mark. So make sure that you actually stream. These are some of the projects for Jungkook's birthday. So we are very close to his birthday. He's gonna turn 30, but their age, not not the US age. He's still 28 in the US. So, but this is in China alone. So if you have any kind of, if you know of any project, South Korea, in the US, let me know. I'll post about it. But these are just some of the things that his fan base fan bases are actually preparing. And then, as I've mentioned, this is the link if you want to order the vinyl of Jimin. Pretty, pretty color. I've always loved the teal color. So I love it. So I think I'm going to, I don't usually collect the vinyl simply because I don't have a player, but I'm going to start. And of course, Jungkook's Hive Insight is now in Chile. Anybody here from Chile? But it's going to be there August 28th to September 28th. You can get your tickets you can get your tickets now. So this is going to start tomorrow. Okay. One in an army has a donation drive going on in X. Okay, so if you have the link, let me know and I'll post about it. Okay, so anybody from Chile, his exhibit is there, and this is your emotional support picture. Because I know it has been rough for a lot of you, I'm going to give you a lot of pictures. And this is Jin taking off his jacket. All right. So this is the first time I've seen the picture with a red jacket, but he's ripped. He's ripped, and he's worked out hard for that body, so it has to be appreciated. But please be wholesome. Okay, he's ripped. He looks good. Okay, that's Jin for you. Okay, and this is V. So the picture on the left, that's my favorite. Outside of his picture with Shohei Otani, this is actually my favorite picture of him for the day. So, because I just love his smile, and that's like a billion-dollar smile. Whenever he smiles, whenever he laughs, it's just everything becomes better. And then on the other side is him, fully made up, just as gorgeous. Okay. that's, that's not emotional as well. Okay. Okay, then if you don't think it's not emotional support, I'll show it again. There you go. But you have to appreciate it. He looks good. He works hard for that, so let's appreciate it. Okay, and that's your Jimin. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that picture gorgeous? He's really one of, I think he's my favorite performer. He There's just something in him whenever he goes on stage. I love the lines that he does. He creates with his body whenever he dances. So that's why people are leeching on him. How can you not leech? Come on, he's just a great performer. He's good looking. He's kind. He's talented. Okay. All right. So that's more of Jimin. Can you please explain to me about the BTS movies? Is that one made about army? Thank you. No, No, that's not the movie about armies by armies. These are their concerts. So they remastered it and I guess re-edited and added some more footage. So there are four concerts that they are going to be showing on cinemas. So you need to buy one ticket per concert. Okay, that's your Jimin for you. He is ethereal, yes. He's ethereal. So we do not support. So I've talked about that movie about armies. Personally, you guys, you can decide on your own. You're very smart. You know where your values lies, what your priority. Some of you don't make a big deal out of it. That's fine. So, but as for me, I chose not to support that movie. Um, okay, so this is Jungkook with Bam, and this is his arm in the process of getting tattooed. The last time I showed you his arm, still clear, and that was his birthday. If you would remember when Jimin flew from Paris to South Korea just to celebrate his birthday. And that was the last time we actually had a public picture of him with his arm still clear of tattoos. And this was him on his way to getting the tattoo. So not sleeved up yet, but he was starting here. He already had the army tattoo. As far as I remember, he said that the army tattoo on his knuckles, that's the first ones that he got. Okay. Bellatrix. I have no army friend now to go to watch BTS movies. Why don't you post on Patreon? Maybe there's somebody close to your area and they can watch with you. And also, I've personally watched movies like with nobody with me, and it's just fine. Because when you're there, people are gonna start talking with you anyway. Anyway, so it's fine. And this is the last photo shoot of RM for the latest photo shoot of RM for Bottega. So isn't he gorgeous? He has the height of a model. He has the body of a model. Come on. Okay, so that's Bottega for him. They still are not doing any kind of mainstream advertising to this day. So they're still very dependent on their social media influencers and of course their brand ambassadors to do the pushing for them. And that is just the strategy of Bottega. They don't want to do any kind of paid marketing. And this is Suga, circa 2010. 2009, but he was very very young here. This was pre-debut, and you saw him young. Then I'll show you when he's not young anymore. Well, he's still young but a little older. So I love him with glasses. I think there's something, it makes him more intimidating. Okay. His body is better than emaciated model. And then this is him on stage, completely in his element. And this is, of course, my favorite Shoga, right? When he is in his element, going all street and doing his thing on stage. Rana Nicholas, you don't have friends here in LA? Where are your friends? You don't have friends or you don't have army friends? Okay, so I hope that recharged you. As you can see, they're very wholesome because I think we all need to be wholesome today after everything the armies went through in the last, what, 10 hours maybe? Okay, so I hope that actually recharged you. Oh, no, I'm not done. We, of course, have J Hope. So this is the young J Hope and the a little older J Hope. So there's something very, very intimidating about J Hope when he's not smiling. I can understand. I think I get it when what BTS is talking about, um, when they make a mistake and J Hope is actually looking at them because he's very very intimidating. So this is just him trying to, it's having a conversation with an army, and this was one of their very early fan meet after one of their performances, and then of course the next one is one of their uh, live on stage performances. Okay, you have been going to live viewings alone. See, oh yeah. So you see, I and yeah, I've also done the same thing. Before my mom was here, I would just go to live to, because many of my Korean friends, they're not even fans of BTS. Okay. And I just wanted to show you something funny. Someone forwarded this to me, how funny armies actually are. So if you design your algorithm the right way, these are the types of content that you will get on X. Okay, if you are able to control it, block everybody that you don't like, and just interact with those that you don't like. These are some of the fun content that you will find. This is one of them, and that this made me laugh because the four members in the center are the ones that have a song with the word close or closer. So and then you have sugar so far away. It made me crack up. But you see, this is like if you can just design your algorithm the right way, if you block people anytime they say something nice, you do not have to subject yourself and allow yourself to be in their vicinity. Just kick them out of your algorithm, and you will end up with super funny memes like this. Armies are so funny. The right armies are so funny. If you find them, they will make you laugh. They'll have fun with BTS. So I encourage you, if you want more contents like this, please cleanse your timeline. Okay, next. Um, but Hobie's also sweet because when Alyssa made a mistake, he didn't call her out. He just said the dancer blocked me. Well, I remember Halsey saying that it's always J Hope making fun of her whenever she makes a mistake, right? So, yeah, he can be fun. And this is one very, very fun memory because I do remember seeing this. It was a video. It was actually Jungkook who asked Jimin to to be carried. So he told Jimin like, I'll carry you. And so as they exit the stage and go into armies, he was carrying Jimin. He likes carrying Jimin. So um, okay, and then BTS becomes the first group to have three members enter the top 10 of Billboard Top Tours monthly: Jin, J-Hope, and Suga. So we now have three of the four members of Young Line, and I am sure that we're going to be supporting RM when he does his, and then of course the Macne line when they do theirs. So that's I can't wait for RM. I saw a crab costume on Amazon. That's what I'm gonna be wearing when RM actually does his tour. Okay, do you remember this guy? So for the early armies out there, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 armies, do you remember him? Kim Jong-kook. It's not Jungkook, okay? Not our Jungkook. Kim Jong-kook. So he is one of the original members of Running Man, and he was the very first one who gave armies a glimpse of the abs of Jungkook. So if you haven't seen their appearance in Running Man, I encourage you. It is very, very funny. So a lot of armies actually really loved him for this. Of course, this is all just fun and games. So if you remember him, he held three members down. He held three members down: Suga, Jungkook, and one more. I can't remember who the other one is. And he's getting married. He's getting married finally. So, Running Man is actually one of the shows that I have loved for so long. I started watching them in season one when it was the original members. I stopped watching after Gary, the rapper, left because I felt like the yeah, the well actually after Gary left because I felt like the chemistry is different now. It's like a different group already, but it's still good. It's still very, very funny. So Kim Jong Kook ended up being friends with Jungkook and with V. So he started training V first. He's a bodybuilder, but also an actor and a singer and a host. So he started training with V. He was one of the people that started training with V. And then after that, he said that Jungkook also joined them. So he's very close to the two members. And he just announced his engagement. So if you can just go to his Instagram page, congratulate him. I'm very happy for him. He's a very good son. He's one of the most eligible bachelors in South Korea, and I'm very happy that he found his love. He often go to LA. He comes to LA a lot, and that's why people are speculating that the girl that he's gonna marry is actually from LA. He has not. I think he made it pretty clear he doesn't. The girl that he's going to be marrying is not a public figure, so I don't want to pry. So I just want to respect his privacy. But okay, so if you can go to his YouTube page, or he has his own YouTube page or his Instagram, and congratulate him. He's a really great guy. I've seen him several times here, and he seems to be a great guy. So yeah, the guy that first gave armies a glimpse of the abs of Jungkook, he's here. He's getting married. All right, I'm very very happy for him. And if you can watch Running Man, because that's a fun show for me. The first half, the first 7 seasons, 8 seasons, that those were the years. Sorry, the first 8 years, those were the funniest for me. That was the first time I saw a superpowered baseball. So they invited Korean MLB players, so Korean baseball players who managed to play in MLB during their off season. They invited them, and they actually did a superpower episode. So it's different. So they actually had superpower. It's not an ordinary baseball game. They did the same thing for football, Asian football. So this is his statement. He's getting married. Please congratulate him. Okay. And then Hunchix Golden is has become the first soundtrack with four simultaneous Hot 100 top tens. So pretty great achievement for them, but also a sequel is in the works. So Sony and Netflix are now discussing for season two. Sorry, for a sequel for part two. I don't know if they're going to do a series or another movie, but if I truly hope that it's a series so that they can really explore the characters. Okay, Karma is set to debut at number one in Billboard 200 with 290K units sold. They said. And I have you been watching Cortis? Have you been watching Cortis? Do you have a bias already? Do you have a bias with Cortis? Tell me who's your bias in Cortis, if you like them or if you have been watching their content. They're fun. They've been creating. I'm having a hard time with Cortis, not your style of music. Haven't been paying much attention to them. True, although I don't think he'll ever be as small as he was. Never managed to live up to the hype. Love Cortis. James. Hey. So James and Conho for me. So I love the group because they seem to be, they're fun little kids. Actually, I appreciate that they're kids. I mean, they could be my children. So definitely could be my children. So they're singing their age, and I actually couldn't understand James so far. Martin, okay, like, oh, a lot. There's a lot of James. So I because the music that they're writing is for their age. It's for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and I was going through some of the reviews that people were writing about them, and it was all about like what's the message of the music, and I feel like they're 16 and 17. What kind of message do you? What kind of substance do you want from? Do you want them to sing about inflation? So I appreciate that they're actually just singing about the things that they're interested in, because if you really want to be authentic as an artist, then you need to just write about what it is that's in your mind, and this is their experience right now. That's why I actually appreciate them, and they're fun. I love their original MV. They apparently created their own version of their music videos, and they call it the original MV. So yeah, 16, 16, 17, 17, and 19. We only have one, and James is actually out the oldest. So And then, if you would remember, Team Trainee A, all of them already um, debuted, and Leo was actually interviewed just yesterday, and he talked about Cortis, and it was refreshing because he didn't hold back. He was talking about the members, James, and he said that there are other trainees as well. And he was like, "No, we're in touch. We're texting them. I know they're busy, but whenever there's a new release or a new video, I would text them. I tell them like, hey, great. I'll encourage them, and they do the same for me." So it was like very refreshing. You know, when a separation does not affect the friendship, and that's how it should be. So I appreciated Leo talking about the members. He wasn't like, let's not talk about it. He wasn't uncomfortable. He was like, no, they're great, and this James is like this and whatever. So I hope the fandom name won't be ridiculous as people suggest. What is the one that I like? Pizza something. Okay. They might actually know a lot about inflation, as that has been a big part of their youth. So Martin said that when he wrote Magnetic, when he got the first check, he was in LA. I think they were shooting for their music video. They he was in LA, and he was so shocked at the amount of residual that he got, the amount of money that he got from Magnetic, because he's one of the co-producers and co-writers. So he said that he was very shocked with it, that he actually, like, he showed his parents, and his parents couldn't believe the amount of money that he was getting. But he ended up investing on musical equipments. So okay, how did they get their name? Color Outside the Lines. Supposedly the acronym for that. Color Outside the Lines. Now for TXT, as I've mentioned to you, for touring data, their data is always late because they verify things. Remember, I mentioned that to you. So if you want, like, a little more credible sources of sales when it comes to concert, then you just go to touring data. So TXT earned their most attended European concert tour of all time, March 25, 2025, with 15,582 tickets sold at O2 Arena in London as part of their Act Promise tour. So they are on a new tour right now. I might be able to watch it. It's in September, I think, in LA. And I checked the ticket for Air Supply because my mom wanted to watch that, and we already bought tickets, my best friend and I. So we're going to watch November, but theirs is September, and then Le Seraphim, I'll also watch that one. Okay. Okay, next, we are close to the end. Isn't that a pretty picture? ILLIT is going to have a live performance for Spotify, so watch out for that. If you have paid Spotify, then watch out for their performance. I love their silhouette, and someone actually tried to, like, lower the increase the brightness, and they were able to see a clearer image. So that's them. I love the branding. So for my live, for the members only, we are going to go through some of the brand assessment of some of the groups. We'll also talk about um, like which groups in so the among all K-pop groups, I would say that the one with a single-minded brand is actually Blackpink. We'll talk about that. We'll compare it with ILLIT and some other groups as well. Okay, sadly, all hype groups are a little hot. It is. Okay, so watch out for their performance. Let's talk about Min Heejin. You can't get into K-pop girl groups. I feel you. I feel you. It's not for everybody. So please like the video. Like the video, please. What a cool photo. I know. I love their group, and I love the branding. I really think that in the long term, and we'll examine that in the members only live stream. Um, I really feel that we are going to they will end up, because no other girl group outside of Blackpink has actually no other girl group has gotten close to Blackpink when it comes to branding. And I think it's them. It's gonna be them. So, and they went totally opposite of Blackpink, which is how it's supposed to be. But in terms of blending, Blackpink is just really great. So okay. Um, you're not a girl group person either. Okay, let's go to actually probably that's why I gravitated towards ILLIT, because there's just it's not your typical I'm powerful kind of thing that is rampant right now in South Korea. So let's talk about Min Hee-jin. I don't know, their jeans ad was hilarious. Oh, Cat's Eye. Yeah. I enjoy their jeans ad. Okay, so Min Hee-jin, Nujin's mom, filed several lawsuits against malicious commenters. She filed it in South Korea. I think she filed about 11 in total already, and she won several, about three. But for this round, there were three lawsuits, and she won one. Okay, but so the thing is that no one could understand why she's doing it, given that she only won 300,000 won, not 3 million won, 300,000 won, which translates to, if you want an easier math, $300, but someone actually computed it's about $225 or something like that. So it's like that's not even 1% of how much you're paying court fees. Never mind lawyers, just court fees. Filing for cases is expensive. You need to pay the court. And then you need to pay your lawyers per hour, billable hours. And so to get all of this, like just get the evidence, screen cap, track the person who's behind the account, this is expensive. So a lot of people can understand really why she's doing this when she's actually not getting a lot of money. I don't think money is her motivation for doing this. She has something under her belt, that she has a bigger plan for this one. So number one, I think she wants to set a precedent. So by suing even small commenters, she sends a signal that I will fight defamation no matter how small. So like remember, we were just talking about Jimin in the first part of this live stream, and how powerful small accounts are, because every comment actually counts. It adds into the algorithm. It feeds into the trend. And so what she's trying to do is to make everybody realize that I don't care if you have one followers or a million followers. If you say something about me, I'm gonna come after you. Okay. And this legal precedent can actually strengthen her hand in future cases, because this is still a decision. Even if the penalty is so small, it is still a court decision. This is a legal document. Okay. So Carla Girl said, you're funny. Carla Girl said that if you show that photo of MHJ, you will need emotional support picture. Okay, so this is a legal precedent. It's still on paper, and it's still recorded that she won. In other words, even if it is just $200, $215, at the end of the day, the court still said that she was defamed, and she needs that on her record. Okay, so it's not necessarily the money. Okay, second reason, it's a deterrence. As I've said, she wants to scare off people commenting against her. She doesn't want to be defamed. And so she wants to make sure that everyone realizes that you are you are in my eyesight no matter how small of a creator you are. So she's discouraging, if more people are scared that they're going to get sued even if the fine is small, then they won't comment against her anymore, and that's going to lower the noise against her, right? So if she's able to lower the noise against her, she can up the noise for her. So now she can play the public opinion game. Okay. um Next, so even if someone thinks, oh, the payout is tiny, they'll still see, but I might get dragged to court, pay legal costs, and be harassed for months, which they don't want, because in Korea it's very, very stressful to actually get sued. And of course, the financial burden is will be on the person who lost. Now, because this person that was asked to pay a fine is, he's not rich, or she is not rich. She was not asked to pay the fee, the lawyer's fee, the legal fees of Min Hee-jin. So, but still, you're still getting dragged to court. So the worry, the stress that you're gonna have to be, that you have to go through, that's her trying to deter people from saying something against her. Next is that by winning even a token sum, she can actually point to a legal recognition that people defamed her. Again, precedent. That's what she wants. She just wants to be able down the road, when she's fighting the bigger fight, she wants to be able to present a document and say, I was defamed. Okay. So, and she can say that the court confirmed it, that I was defamed. Okay, we don't know where she's going to use that for now, but she is going to use that. Next is that repeated wins, even with small payouts, can build momentum for a larger lawsuit later. So she is going to be facing more lawsuits in the future, and of course, she is facing lawsuits right now. All the small victories will add up to court. Okay. And then personal psychology is just, you know her, or at least part of her we know. She likes nitpicking things, and she's very particular about details, and she does not want a sliver of negative PR against her. She's fighting tooth and nail to get um, that that stunning PR reputation, which she has lost because of all the things that have come out, because of all the text messages that have come out. So she's trying to get it back. And this is one step. If she can get the court to say you're getting defamed, she's one step closer to actually recovering it. Will she ever recover? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, so another case is that Daniel, a member of New Jeans, as you know, the judge told them in the decision for the injunction, the decision on the injunction that Adore filed against them, asking the court to tell New Jeans that they can't work unless it is with Adore. In that decision, they said that any kind of work that is not through HIBE, they will have to pay HIBE, a total of $750,000. Okay, now she attended a marathon, which should be harmless. Okay, should be harmless. Until she was wearing Nike brand all over. They had a partnership with Nike. Okay, but still, she shouldn't be doing anything without the approval or instruction of Adore. In that marathon, she was with Junishan. If you, I don't know if you remember that rap duo. They're under YG. So one of the members is an avid runner, and she joined his group. So she was wearing Nike all over, and there is an official photographer. There's an official photographer. So this photographer took a lot of pictures of her in that event and tagged Nike. Okay, so that can be misconstrued as work, because you're connecting her directly to Nike when everything should be through Adore. So a lot of people are waiting. Is Adore going to do anything about this? Now, the photographer already untagged Nike and all the other brands connected to Nike. And people are saying that she should be safe because it wasn't her. Okay. In principle, it should be okay. But the truth is that she knew she was getting photographed, and she knew that the photographer was the official photographer. So she should have made it clear that her photos cannot be posted with the brand. You need to blur it. Okay. So but so far Adore has not done anything. But a lot of people are saying, you can be fined for this because you're essentially connecting directly with Nike, and you shouldn't. Now, I personally think that Adore is not going to do anything as of the moment. They are trying to get into a negotiation with New Jeans. If you would remember, the first round is done, and they are going to come back for another round in September. We don't know what's happening with that mediation, but I don't think Hyde is gonna do anything until that mediation is over. So why take the risk with that kind of penalty in play? Have you ever done anything in your life that is dangerous, but you're not fully aware of the danger and you're only fully aware of it after? Have you ever done anything like that? For example, for me, I did um, I did skydiving in San Diego. Okay. And when I was doing it, it was just like exciting. I like excitement, so I did skydiving. I posted pictures, sent it to my family back in the Philippines. And my father and some of my cousins were like, "Are you freaking crazy? Don't ever do it again." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Why? What's wrong with it?" And so they were explaining to me what could have happened, what if it failed or whatever. And then that's only when it dawned on me how dangerous it was to actually jump off a plane strapped to somebody. What if that failed or something, right? That's what she's into. She's doing something dangerous, but her brain does not register how dangerous that is. So she wants, I think what she's trying to do is just push the envelope and see when is the breaking point, when is a door going to break. She's trying to like piss off a door and see how far she can take it. So that's why she's risking it. That's why, despite the 750,000 possible fine, she's doing it. It's because she's not fully aware of just how dangerous that thing is. It's the same thing with this unilateral this the agreement, them discontinuing the agreement. It's the same thing. They weren't fully aware how dangerous it is until they were actually there, until now. What in the heat of it, they weren't, their judgment, their brains were clouded. All they knew was that no, we need to follow HEEJIN. And now that things are, now that the fine is there, now that the court is telling them you can't do this, you can't work, and now that they've been out of work for 2 years almost, they're finally realizing just how the pickle that they have gotten themselves into. Okay. Can the can the judge fine her even if Adore doesn't complain? No, the court is does not execute. So the court can't. The court cannot execute a judgment. So what what Hyde, what Adore needs to do is to ask for example, demand for payment. If if Adore actually wants to do this, they can demand her to pay. And then if they don't pay, then they can go to court and say, okay, she's not paying. So you need to garnish her money in the bank. So then the court will say, oh, okay, all right. So I'm going to write up a decision. So the judge is going to write up a decision, and then you bring it to the bank so that the bank will be the ones that will transfer the money from her bank to yours. But the court itself, they can't execute the judgment. That's up to the law enforcement, the police. Okay. Um, so she doesn't. So she gets into trouble if she doesn't. If she doesn't, good for Nike. Yeah. Well, I don't think, as I've said, I think Adore is gonna wait until this is done. The mediation is done. I think they are still trying their very best to make it work, or at the very least, show the court to make it work. They don't have a choice. They have to show the court that they are willing and able and trying their very best to make it work. So that, as I've said, when judgment comes, the court can say, okay, do the other party did their best, and you keep on pushing back, right? So cover their asses, basically. Um, I disagree with those women think bunny uncles will come through for them. Okay. Next. So this is a precedent, and this is a case that just happened in South Korea. So there was a group, they remain unnamed, but there is a K-pop group, and they had a Japanese member, or they had Japanese members. All right. Now, what the management did was add a new member in the group. Okay, so they have already debuted. They've already debuted, and they added a new member in the group. So they terminated the contract, and they said we don't want. Well, first they told the company, well, we don't want a new member. We don't want her in here. And the company said, well, it's not your decision. I'm sorry, but you have a new member. And so they stopped coming to work, and they sent a letter to the agency saying, we are terminating our contract with you. Okay. So the management company sued them. All right. So the same thing, almost the same thing that's happening to Adore. And the management company told the court, it is nowhere in our contract that states they have a say on who the members are. So this is not grounds for termination. And so the Japanese idol said that, well, it's causing us stress. This is not the agency. This is not the same group that we signed up for. This is not part of the agreement. We already debuted. This is not healthy for the company. We don't trust them anymore. This is breach of trust. Okay. And the court said, no, there is nowhere in the contract that states you have any say in who the members are going to be. The contract states their obligation, the company's obligation, that they will pay you for whatever it is that you're going to be doing, any kind of work that you're going to be doing, to secure bookings for you, to secure work, brand deals, songs, concerts. But it does not state that you get a say in who the members are. Okay, so the Japanese idols lost the case. So the court is telling them, you have to go back. All right. So they're filing an appeal, and a lot of people think that it's going to go the same way TVXQ actually had it in the past, where the court actually just sort of, I guess, found ways on how to eventually um, have SM strike a deal with a settlement with them where they get paid. So they got a portion of the income of the three members until the penalty was paid. So okay, so that is the case. Now a lot of people are saying, so this is the article. So remember, this is a Japanese idol. She's from Japan, but the group is in Seoul. Okay. So the singers claim that the agency breached its contract. Persons A's side claimed that the agency had breached their contract multiple times, breaking trust. Person A's issue were primarily fourfold. So here are the issues. Okay. First, the agency broke its promise. Let's go back here. They broke their promise not to recruit new members without the consent of existing members, and unilaterally brought in a new member. Second, he claimed that the agency staff made threatening and abusive remarks, such as "get out of the dorm" and "should I hit you." And third, it was pointed out that the agency favored only the member who caused problems in social media. And lastly, they claimed that the company had failed to provide any settlement information even once after the contract was signed, thereby failing to fulfill its obligation to share profits. Okay. This ABC is awfully specific. Couldn't be too hard to figure out who it is. I don't know. Or maybe I do know. I can't say because I don't want to get sued. The problem is that I'm visible, so I can't just say things. I'm gonna get sued. So I feel individually one or two of the girls got swept along and regret they have no options. They are distressed. Are we talking about new jeans? I do think there's a weak link in the group, meaning there is somebody in the group that is not fully into the lawsuit and actually wanted to get out of it. Um, just because statistically there's always that one, right? It's very rare when everyone is solid into doing just one thing alone, especially if it is um, if it's a rebellion of sorts. So I do think you're right that there's a weak link in there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next hints. It's not a young group. I guess the first thing that you can do is search for groups with Japanese members. There's not a lot. There's not a lot. They're definitely not part of the big four. There you go. Not even if you include like Starship and stuff like that, they're not included. And it's a boy group. There. It's and I said that boy group because it said in the article. So you can just search. It's very easy. Okay. Robin Carr, for which group, the five moods or the Japanese group? If five, the okay. Maybe a Norieri. Maybe, maybe one of the two could be the youngest. Some people were saying Bang Chiuk is jealous of Min Hee-jin, acting as if Adore belonged to her. In reality, Bang Chiuk was the one who gave her. You know, I think a lot of people are missing the point. New jeans were selling well. They were really doing very well in the beginning. I think a lot of people are missing that. They were they were on track to destroy the records of Blackpink. They were on track to do that. They're doing really well. And you can say whatever it is that you want to say about the music. Personally, I liked their first several releases and then I felt like it stagnated. But regardless of that, they were still doing well. You can't argue with success. I mean, to this day they still are getting some good streams. And so if you are an entrepreneur like Bang Shiuk and you're seeking, number one, to repeat the kind of success that you had with BTS, or at least come close to it, and you have a group here, why not take the chance? Right? Why not take the chance? I can't blame him for taking the chance. And number two, it's not as if they weren't the ones who found the five girls. It was them who found who found the five girls. Remember, they came from Source Music. They were going to debut in Source Music. So you have a chance. That's all he had. He just really wanted to do well for the company, and that would have been great for Hyde. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, we don't want to say they did well," but they did well. New Jeans did very, very well, and I think personally, in my opinion, I think that was the primary motivation for Bang Shiuk why he decided to give in to many of his demands, many of her demands, because New Jeans was performing well. So, um, all right. Maybe any questions? Okay, so I don't think we can go to the BTS brand. I can give you some sneak peek, and then the rest, I guess the rest of this, I was gonna give you a sneak peek anyway, and then give you the rest for the paid membership. But this is just interesting. So because a lot of brands are now scrambling to get BTS, right? And I'm still, I mean, to my credit, I did not burn any bridges. So I can still like talk to people and just ask some questions. And so, in one of the things that you do as a brand manager or as a marketing manager when you're trying to get somebody to be an ambassador or partner with your brand or whatever, is that you do a marketing study, a brand study. You try to see if their brand is consistent with yours, the kind of messaging that you can use for the campaign that would be consistent with your messaging and their messaging as well. So it's a whole study. Sometimes it takes months. It takes at the very least at least 2 months because you go through a lot of quantitative study, qualitative study, do some analysis, you brainstorm, you come up with ideas and stuff like that. And so one of the most interesting thing is that for many of these brand managers and marketing agencies is that BTS is the only celebrity most marketing and business agencies admit to be difficult to assess. So they really are having a hard time sort of pinpointing the brand of BTS. And that was very, very interesting to me. So just to expound it a little, like in every campaign, in every brand, you do a single-minded proposition. So this is the one brand, the one thing the one thing that will differentiate you from the competition. Okay, and this is usually our practices at gunpoint, is usually what we say. At gunpoint, you have to be able to say what your single-minded proposition are or unique selling proposition is for in one breath. Okay, so it has to be clear and it has to be short. Okay, so and the question is, a lot of people that's asking us is, why does it have to be a single-minded proposition? Well, the human brain is a cognitive miser, so it conserves energy and it defaults to shortcuts. So when it is trying to deliver something, it has to be fast. When it's trying to understand something and it's trying to think about something, it has to be short and it has to be fast. So that's why it's just one information. Okay. Okay, next is neuroscience shows that working memory, or the part of that brain that processes new information, can only handle 3 to 5 chunks of information at a time, and only one dominant idea sticks long term. So if you give me 5 things, if you tell me 5 things, I'll be able to process one will stand out. The rest, most likely, I'm going to forget. That's why when they're building a brand, it's always single minded, it's always just one thing. So if you overload someone with multiple identities or messages, then they get confused, or they reject or forget other propositions, or they do their own simplification, and often in ways you don't control, right? So if you tell me 5 things, I'm going to process that so that it's all tied, or I will pick one and that's the only thing that I will remember. Okay. So people don't have the time to analyze 20 reasons why Coke, Nike, and BTS matters. They can process one. So that's why it's always single-minded for us. For Nike, it's motivation. For Apple, it's simplicity. For Coca-Cola, it's refreshment. For BTS, it's healing through music, they said. Okay, this is the closest they can ever get to the brand of BTS. So a brand with conflicting propositions, or yeah, with conflicting propositions, especially if it doesn't seem to connect. So if Volvo tried to own safety and speed, so for car people out there, you know that Volvo is about safety. So oh, you want safe, then Volvo. But if they do safety and speed, both message will cancel each other. So you will end up not remembering anything. Okay. So if a newspaper runs 2 headlines at once, the reader doesn't know which is the story. That's why you're always saying something, communicating just one message. And so that's what they're trying to pinpoint for BTS. What is that one thing that we can do to describe? What is the one thing that will describe BTS? And they're having a hard time. Okay. So if you observe, when you are reading an ad or watching something, their call to action is always just one. They tell you to buy, they tell you to learn more, but never the same thing. Because they said, according to research, if you are given an option, if you're given a choice, you won't make any. You have to be told as a consumer what it is that you have to do. So, as an SMP, a single minded proposition or a unique selling proposition, has to be single, unique, understandable, and relatable. Okay, so now the question is, if they can do this to the Beatles, because the Beatles, for them, they said the Beatles is the voice of a generation's rebellion and creativity. They said that that's the brand of the Beatles. What is the brand of BTS? Okay, so that is what many marketing agencies are finding it hard to do. So they have certain keywords, their own journey, because they write their own music based on their own life and experiences and thoughts. They do complex concepts, they do pop aesthetics, they do multi-genre because they're not stuck with one genre. They have very tight fan relationship, and they are multimedia. And so these are some of the keywords. But the next quest for them, so there's a lot more keywords. So the next quest is for them to sort of organize these keywords into several columns, several pockets, and then come up with a brand. But still, they all find it very challenging how to pinpoint the brand of BTS. Okay. Healing, that's what you think it is. When's the last time they did a joint brand? They've been doing solo brands and they're all quite different. No, yes, I'm just talking about BTS, not the individual members. For the individual members, I'll do that for the paid membership live stream, which I will do on Friday. And on Friday, it's going to be 4 p.m. because I'm happy that we finally like sort of pinpoint we land on a time. It seems that 4 p.m. is what's good for everybody. So I'll do it Friday 4 p.m. Um, I'll go through the brands of each of the members. But for BTS, they are BTS doesn't lip sync. Yeah, but it's interesting because a lot of them are like we can't pinpoint a brand for BTS. It's so hard. Um, and so I was like, so all this time, they know the characteristics of BTS, but they just can't pinpoint the brand. Okay, so I'll go through the brand for each of the members. And it's actually interesting how different they are. And it's kind of I've been out in the game. I mean, I haven't done advertising agency side for a while, which is on purpose because it actually that work is actually what sent me into depression the first time. That's why I decided to quit. I told myself I'm gonna end up harming and unaliving myself if I continue working in this field. Um, but being away from it for a while and then coming back to it just in this capacity, not really as a participant in it, but coming back into that in this capacity, sort of fun because I am able to see things from a third party perspective and I'm not pressured to actually do it. I'm doing it for fun. So, okay. So I'll do the individual brand assessment for each member. You'll find it, well, at least I found it interesting. And I'm just going to share with you whatever it is that I have. And then I'll do ILLIT as well. Some of the strongest brands, the strong brand identities of some groups. And then, or individual performance. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to do. Might take some time to figure out what they stand for now post solo and military. They'll definitely um, they will definitely evolve. They already are evolving. Okay, so before we go on our separate ways, just want to remind everybody, please focus on the good things. If you can block people, just start blocking people on X, on Facebook, on IG, on YouTube. Anytime or anybody who states the name or connects the name of people to Jimin or any BTS member for themselves, block them. Block them. Because any kind of mention will be taken by AI and by the algorithm as a connection, negative or positive. So block people and stay in your own bubble. Don't allow others to pull you into their bubble. So stream, vote, and then support him in any way possible. So do your 1 to 3 ratio, and everything should be good. Okay. So we love Jimin. He's a grown man. He has the right to his personal life. He's 30. Come on. I'm sure he's had several relationships already. Okay. Then that's just it's his personal life. All right. We love him, right? We're gonna support him all the way through. And remember, he has not lost a single fan. So whatever. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. Please visit the website, Asian Entertainment and Culture. It's still on a soft launch because I haven't really been able to get to it, but hopefully within the week. Okay, thank you. And for the paid members in YouTube and paid members in Patreon, I'll see you on Friday for a more detailed and unfiltered